you want to go with the stereotype. Anyway, if you sit down and, the hour starts and you tell your therapist, man, I had a really tough. Therapist says, yeah, but enough about your problems. You know what's going on with me? That person should not be a therapist.
Yeah, and also.
And so these people who are in politics and are solely looking out for their jobs to keep their jobs. Politics.
If we had people in politics, in business, in social service, in any of these you list, who were really looking out for the people, they wouldn't have jobs very long. That's the politicians, because they look out for their constituents who are going to put money into their re-election campaigns.
So we got to get money out.
Sure.
It gets down to, even if it's money, it's prestige.
It's power.
It is not. I would not be passing all those homeless people on the street in tents and little plastics to cover themselves when it rains if those in charge for whichever of these entities actually thought about the people. The people are not thought about. And if there's nothing else I know that.
I don't think that's true
You
for
think
all
it's
politicians.
not true?
Well,
there's always the exception.
I mean, maybe it's idealistic, but I think that I like to think that the people do care about social issues and about people. And then I think over time, people can become corrupt and money creeps into their life. But I did want to say just really quickly, I think there's no greater example of this than the current president, who was a pro-choice Democrat and then saw a way to gain
gain
more
power by exploiting the ignorant.
Exactly. And so this is not someone who cares about the average person. This is someone who wanted to win just for the
glory.
Yeah, for the glory, for the power. I really doubt that this man enjoys the day-to-day job.
Oh, absolutely not.
He keeps going on vacation. He hates it.
Yeah.
He keeps leaving.
And he loves holding rallies.
Yes.
He's like, this guy won the presidency and he's still holding rallies.
Yeah, for his next election.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Like we're really going to last that long.
There's two kind of actors, right? Like in the industry, like there's the ones that really love the art and the skill, and it's their job and it's their livelihood, and they love to act. And there's another that if they're there for the red carpet events. Right? Like there's these things when you hear that.
It's the line between actors and celebrities.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the politicians, especially, they're there for the red carpet events. They're not there for the art of acting. They're there for I know they're not actors, but they're not there for policy, they don't care about government. They don't care about any of these things. They just want pictures and attention and, I don't know, glory.
Well, right. But, getting back to Steve Bannon, speaking about doing things for the power and the glory, which I read something that at his Florida rally last weekend, when Melania led the crowd in the Lord's Prayer, the only line that Trump recited was "the power and the glory forever and ever." and it's like, wow, if it isn't true, it may as well be. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that we were talking, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Major League. Came out, in the 90s, early 90s?
Maybe late 80s.
Late 80s. But basically, I really want to watch the movie again, considering what Steve Bannon said this week about tearing down the administrative state. Because the crux of the movie is the owner of the Cleveland Indians realizes that if her team has the shittiest season ever, she will be able to move the team to Florida, where she would much rather be. So the worst team possible. And this is basically what the cabinet is. That Steve Bannon admitted this week that the administration's strategy is ripping off the plot from Major League. So what do we have to do to fix things? Do we have to bring Charlie Sheen in and get him a pair of glasses? Because that's what they did in the movie. It's frightening to me that, one of the things that I've been talking about since before the election is that change is incremental, and you can affect change in government, but it's going to take time, and it's going to be a long, dirty slog. and you're not guaranteed success, but you have to celebrate every inch when you're trying to get a mile. And, so many people I knew, or talked to before the election that were Bernie bros or third-party voters because of man. Well, now you're getting exactly what you wanted. Mm-hmm. Happy? Because I don't see the happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that.
We're all in agreement here.
All right, so moving on. We've got about 10 minutes. So one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about that happened this week, we were talking about the media and the fake news a lot today. Yesterday, 2 days ago, there was a White House press briefing where the New York Times, the LA Times, CNN, and Politico were banned from the briefing. Because they are quote unquote fake news. And that one of the things that in his speech on Friday at CPAC, Trump said, "Well, the lying media, being dishonest again. They're saying that I was coming out against the news. No, I said fake news." Well, yeah, semantics, I guess, but you named in his tweet where he complained about the fake news, he named ABC, CBS, CNN,
like all
New
the
York
news.
Times, like all of the legitimate news sources. And instead, the legitimate news sources were banned from this press briefing, and the truly fake news was given a seat at the table. So as consumers, what are we doing? How horrifying is this? I saw a lot of people jumping online and saying it's unconstitutional, and technically not, because the First Amendment says that Congress shall not enact anything abridging the freedom of the press. So this was done by the tyrant and the dictator and his toadies. It's not unconstitutional, unsavory.
But he also claimed that he was not really ruling out people, except they were having it in a smaller room, and there was not space for everyone, and so they had to make some decisions.
We're getting rid of the legitimate source.
But yeah, and there were also no cameras allowed at the briefing, so it makes it a lot easier to fake the news when you're guiding. It's like people who think reality shows are real. Like, I think. And again, this is the intellectual
people don't
here.
Think.
I know. And in terms of reality shows, I think editors should get writing credits because basically that's what they're doing. You've got writers who come up with where they want the plot to go, but then you've got the editors who take the footage and make it go in the plot that make it go in the direction that the writers want it to go. Reality shows, despite the name, are not real. And what is being bandied about as the fake news is not fake.
Well, I said the other day there were a lot of great magazines and periodicals that were allowed in. Croquet Weekly was allowed in. Miniature Donkey Talk. Great periodicals.
Also, Miniature Donkey Talk, also a fun podcast.
Yes.
Don't understand a thing they're saying, but it's fun to listen to.
Right. Trump Magazine also would have been allowed in, but they went bankrupt.
But they folded. Yeah, like every Trump business venture, except for marketing the Trump name. That is the one thing
successful.
that he has been successful with, despite everything. Getting pulled out of Nordstrom if you've got the Ivanka Trump brand.
I heard that some of her merchandise was at the 99-cent store now.
Oh yeah, have some.
Still overpriced.
Yeah, there was I have a picture on Instagram. But it was being sold like for $1.99.
Yeah, and it shows on the slip.
Yeah,
I saw that. And it started at $179.
Yeah, and
right.
You know what? I think this is part of the bigger problem that really Republicans seem to have, but a lot of quote unquote free speech activists, folks like Milo, whatever, soon to be a footnote. But free speech is constitutionally guaranteed, but the Constitution also protects people's right to react to that speech. And do I believe in the government curtailing free speech? Of course not. That's what we call censorship. But there is a responsibility that comes with free speech. And if I think Nordstrom's made a sound business decision. A line wasn't selling, and so they're clearing the shelf space to get merchandise that will sell. The problem isn't that Nordstrom's is taking it off the shelves, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier about everything happens for a reason. What is the reason they're taking? Is it because the Trump name is on it? That's not the reason. It's not, it says Trump, let's get rid of it. It's because people are deciding not to buy things with the Trump name on them.
Yep. Well, the ridiculous part for me of a president who is going to intervene in a 35-year-old daughter's business venture, she's on her own. So this daddy's little girl business is like a joke,
Absolutely.
which would encourage foolish parents who tend not to think to always, and many of them are like this, to always believe when their kid is wronged to take up the fight. At what point in time does Ivana's business venture stand on its own? Do we wonder if and Barack went over to their daughter's school to say, you know what, she did a really good paper and you only gave her a C.
Right.
And those are actual minors.
Right.
Yes,
you can do that
right.
for
They
your
were
15-year-old.
35 years old.
This is a grown-ass woman. He's like,
Yes.
Not just him, but his staff.
So anyway, I'm looking for her outfits at the 99-cent store.
Where they will be available.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't get to talk about one issue that I just want to bring it up quickly because we're running low on time. But this week, the administration got rid of protections for trans students, saying that this is an issue for the states. States' rights are important. This is what it's all about. And I wish I could remember who it was. I saw someone on TV basically, saying what shockingly needs to be said is that civil rights are not a state issue. It's a federal issue. This is a country made up of tons of different types of people, and we are all Americans. So that was determined to be a states' rights issue. The following day, however, were put to the flame when, sadly not literally, when the government said, but all the states that want to legalize marijuana or legalize medical use of marijuana, we're going to be cracking down on that. So,
which is a state.
That is, So you can't have it both ways.
You basically have people who are running our government who have no idea how the American government runs.
Very true. And that's part of this whole tearing down the administrative state. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's a delightful comedy. Major League 2, don't bother.
It's a bit of the producers also, too. Mel Brooks is the producer.
Oh, really?
Yes. Have you seen that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying he was the producer of...
No.
Yeah.
No, but it's sort of the same principle. Create something so awful, intentionally create something so awful, and yet, ironically, it turns out to be a success.
So are you saying that about the Trump's presidency?
Yeah.
That we have something so awful, but it's going to turn out to be a success?
There
was a theory that
you don't think so?
There was a theory that he originally ran to publicize The Apprentice, that he never truly wanted the job. And, you could make a case for that. Yeah. They sort of bumbled his way in house. I just wanted to read a tweet from almost a year ago, June of 2016. Donald Trump tweeted, "Thank you to the LGBT community. I will fight for you while Hillary brings in more people that will threaten your freedoms and beliefs." So, you just forgot the T part of LGBT.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you, Caitlin? Caitlin Jenner, if you're out there listening, we'd love to have you on the show to talk about well, what it feels like to get bent over without any lube and taken by force, metaphorically. That's, yeah. If that's happened literally, I'm really sorry.